riding my horse, and I very seldom take a lot of food with me because I have all kinds of plants and bulbs and berries out there when I'm up in the mountains, when I was up in the mountains. So I very seldom pack a lot of food. So a lot of it was just learning on what I could, what you dropped something there, on what I could eat when I was out there. Okay, so we will walk in here. You guys can follow me. And another thing too to watch for, is look at the tracks. You'll know what kind of animals are there. And if you see bear tracks, you know to be careful around that area. Okay? So there's already I know there's deer here. Okay, last year there was one more brush. So you can tell that the animals winter here, okay? So they've eaten a lot of the different bushes. And this bush here, I believe, is a Saskatoon bush. So they've eaten them all back down. If the deer didn't eat that down, there would eventually be Saskatoons here. The leaves, I've never tried it, but the leaves you can put in your, use for your salads. You add them in. The root is also good for teas. Yep. So you should never think that you're going to starve to death when you're out in nature, because there's a lot of different things you can utilize. Let's see, what else is there? When you're out in nature, as one student said earlier, you have to really slow down, slow your minds down, right? And it's a really good time to just take a rest from all your rush that you have every day. All your worries, you just drop them down, slow down, and continue just looking at stuff. Can anybody tell me what this bush is here?
Lilac?
No, not lilac. What grows with berries that look like this? Usually in August you can see them. Chokecherry, yep. So that's what they look like, is what we call just before the flower opens up.
Buds.
Yeah. So you can tell by the way the flowers are going to come out on it, that's chokecherry. And what color are they usually? No, there's
like
some.
purple-ish?
No, there's some right there, right behind there.
Yellow, white?
That's Saskatoon bushes, okay? Those Saskatoon bushes, had they grown up, they would have white flowers already open now. So usually you have the Saskatoon bush, which is white, and then the chokecherries come shortly after. So they get a lot of people mixed up as to what bush they're looking at. So you have to look at the bush closely to see what they are, whether it's a Saskatoon or a chokecherry. In the winter, when I'm feeling like I'm catching a cold, what I will usually do is I will either go out and find they grow, the seed pods grow up this tall, they look like cactus. I will go find a dry leaf, and then I'll light it up with a lighter, light it up, and then I'll just inhale the smoke in my nose. And right away that cold goes away. The smoke dries up your runny nose, so that's what I use for my colds. And sometimes, sometimes when if you look in the books, you'll see sometimes people say to use it for, after you go to the bathroom out in the bush, to use that for toilet paper. I wouldn't do it, because I think when you feel a leaf, there's a lot of fuzzy stuff on there, so that's one thing I wouldn't do. So this is what the mullein looks like in the winter. And I know there is a use for the seeds, but I'm not too sure what it is. I've never tried it. So everything that I teach, I pretty well have tried, or make sure that they are okay to do what you've learned in the book or on the internet. Okay. Well, that's okay. These are dead. They're not going to grow again. They've already planted their seeds, so there'll be new ones coming up. Yeah. So you can tell. Okay, we went from where there was a lot of grass to this here now. So what does that tell you? Which is a better land? Yeah, wherever the grass is, that's a better land for growing stuff. And this here is dry, probably a lot of gravel underneath here. So that's why the different grasses are growing differently here than what's over there. So if you wanted to set up your camp, where would you set it up? Yeah, in this area where it's nice and dry. If you look at this,
Hey guys, help listen please.
if you look at this plant here, it's creating its seed. Okay, well, so when you see something like this, you know that it's creating seed for, in the fall they'll all fill out, and that's how they make their the seed, so they have more plants for next year. Yeah. So that's used a lot more. The animals have got smaller feet, so they don't make as much, they don't dig in as much. So if you're a hunter, you would look for these little trails here. So you know there's animals in the area. Not quite obviously. What was it?
Something scratched at the trees.
Yeah, something scratched the trees.
Like you just maybe wanted to get some fruits or something.
Okay, you'll see this here. From the length of it, they're looking at something that could rub its horns that much. And you look at this one here, something that can just rub its horns like that. If you go up in the mountains or out in the bush, you'll see, I don't think we have any here, strips of trees either with a upside down V, okay? Like that. There'll be a piece of bark missing off trees. That tells you the bears have been there in the springtime, okay? So next time you see something like that, you'll know that the bears are in that area in the spring. And one of my elders, I call one of my elders when I was growing up, said to pull down, that was for food or like survival. You eat the cambium, which is not just here, but underneath there's the growing part of the tree. And if you pull it up, that is used for if you're feeling sick and you want to throw up or protect yourself. Let's say you think you ate a bad plant, you pull that up and then that will make you vomit out what's bad for you. I've never tried that because I'm very careful as to what I eat. So, okay, any questions so far? Okay, let's continue on. What kind of tree is this?
That's
Not a pine.
oh, Douglas fir.
Douglas fir, right. And have you ever done you can tell how old they are by digging into them with a certain tool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys done that?
It's so hard.
Yeah. So a lot of times, if you see a guess, yeah, that's a pine there. A guess as to how old they are, you just look at the how big they are at the base. So which is older, this one or that one? Yeah, the fir. And look at the difference in the bark of the tree. Notice the difference here? So then here, let me break this. And then that is darker and it's a lot more, they got smaller, what I call little patches of bark that would pull off. So what is the bark, or purpose of the bark?
To protect the tree.
Right, it's to protect the tree. So a lot of times the thickness tells you, the pine has probably got a lot thicker than the fir tree does. Yeah. Okay, what do you call these, where the branches come out? They're called whorls, okay? They're whorls, called whorls around the tree. So you can see there's one there, there's one there, there's one higher up. The Douglas fir grows them around in circles. And the pine, you look at the pine here, look at the branches, they're one below the other. They're not in a circle around. Which would be a better campfire wood? The fir, yep. Okay, here's another white blossom. What do you think this one is? Remember what I said at the other plant? Or the other bush?
Apple blossom?
No,
No,
Saskatoon, right. So you'll notice a difference, and this one has got a little bit of a pink in some of them. Notice the difference in how this is more like a small little puff ball. Okay, this type of willow, when you're out in the bush or wherever, if you find some willow that's dead like this, this is the hottest fire fuel you could have. You don't need a lot of this to have a nice warm fire. You probably only need, I'd say, a handful about that big to have a nice warm fire. Also, it's the best for cooking. Instead of having a big log on your fire for cooking, you put these on and you can control the amount of heat that you're cooking with. So that's what this is good for, the dead branches of this willow here. And then you want a longer burning fire, you can use poplar, which is laying there, the dead poplar. Saskatoons, right. So if you were smart, when the berries are just about done, you'd come down here and pick some.
When do the berries normally?
Usually in June, yeah, middle of June on. So again, that's another lesson. As you're going, walking in the bush, you look at all the different places where later on in the year you can go back and harvest some berries and that, so. No, it isn't wood. Okay, there is a cottonwood there. Cottonwood is different than poplar. Again, you're looking at the bark, you're looking at the leaves. Okay, compared to the leaves on this one here. This is a poplar tree. Can you see the difference?
Yeah.
So that's a poplar tree, and this is a cottonwood tree here. In the spring, some people that make their own medicines and that, they will take the buds when they're really sticky and put them in extra virgin oil, vegetable oil, and make a skin rub for themselves. And I'm not too sure what it's for, but I've heard that's what they've done. And I've helped my cousin go out in the spring and gather the buds, yeah. And then you have to really either wear gloves, or when you finish, when your fingers are all sticky, you can use, I think, the oil, vegetable oil, to take off the stickiness. Oh, ants. That's what I was hoping to. Okay, the ants, okay, don't bother them.
Those are big ants. Fire ants.
Yeah, one of the things that I did one time, if you really pay attention to one that is packing a pine needle or something, you should watch it for about a half an hour. It's amazing how they are built. Okay, this type of willow here, how many of you have been out in the backcountry and you forgot your fishing rod and you wanted to go fishing? Looked like a good stream, there'd be a lot of fish. So what do? You find some willows like this, cut one to a length for your fishing rod and use it for fishing. And also this kind of willow, you can make little shelters. They're bendable, so you can use them to create shelters. And that's one thing that I always tell the young people anyhow, is what do you do if you ever get lost? You never panic. You want to learn as much as you can about being able to be safe out in the bush. And these are some of the things that I teach, is how to utilize the stuff that you see around you. This willow also has got some nice heat for the fires, so that's another good cooking wood. Now this here plant I'm hitting, okay, can be used for mats. You can build mats with them, or they are also edible. The root in the bottom is edible. I've heard some of our younger people have made flour out of it. You dry it out and then you can pound it and make a flour out of it for a food source. I've never tried that. I've been trying to contact the young people that did that so I could learn how to do that. So,
Okay, take this with me.
so you hear that bird? No,
That's a goose.
it's a blackbird.
Wait.
Just wait.
I think that's a duck. That one?
There, that one. Okay, they build their nests in this kind of marsh. And they have a really neat nest, so that's one of the things to watch out for is their little nests right inside the, when they build their nests, they hang them along the plants. Hope you learned something. And what I would like to have you do for me is write up something that you learned, and you guys can give that to Stella to give back to you. So that's my follow-up. I like to follow up on anything that I do. I want to know whether I did a good job, whether it was worth teaching. So that's your little job for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.